New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics, officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
This is a special service announcement with the TFTG. Broken takes are back. This episode, we're top of the tailgate.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beat's back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever mind and they beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. When it's all said and done, I'll still be here standing.
Good morning, Fin fans. This is Top of the Tailgate. I am your host, Ali the Persian. This is TFTG, a brand new show, a brand new week. Let's go. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Top of the Tailgate. It is Monday for you guys. Monday, August 14th. How's everybody doing? Make sure you hit like and subscribe. We got a good show planned for y'all. I got my co-host in the back. I'll bring him up in a moment. But before I do, just some things real quick. Like I said, make sure that you hit like and subscribe. Please don't forget to do that. That would definitely be appreciated first. Second, shout out to some of the other content we got around here. Shout out to El Capitan, go on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays too. Shout out to Color and myself. When the season starts, we're going to be in full swing. We're going to have Top of the Tailgate. We're going to have Broken Takes, as you heard the special service announcements, as well as we're going to have Late Night Exhale every Saturday at 10 p.m. And also, don't forget, we got Coffee and a Cup of Color. That's right, Coffee and a Cup of Color. Got it right this time, Color. And don't forget about him because he's going to be putting out stuff as well. When the season gets up and going, we're going to be in full swing. It's going to be a lot of fun. But don't forget, we also got KP up in the joint, giving his takes. We're going to get a show for him rocking and rolling. Lewis and Shake Money with drive times and smoke lounges. It's one hell of a time. It gets rowdy around here. That's right. Check out their show. They had a really nice show today. So definitely check them out. And then we got the newest guy on the team, Crypto. Definitely can't wait till he gets into the swing of things and starts getting his content put out as well. Welcome to the team, Crypto. If you like the stuff and you like the content and you want to donate and want to keep it going, we accept Venmo, Cash App. You don't have to, but we appreciate it. In addition to it, we accept super stickers and super chats. That's optional as well. Shout out to all of our members. That's right. If you like the content and you want to donate, the easiest and most inexpensive way to help the channel, become a member, right? There's 3 different levels. They got Amigos, Familia, and MVP. That you get a little bit different content, exclusive content that people that are non-members don't get. In addition, you get emojis and stuff like that. And it's the easy way to donate to the channel. We really appreciate it. Without you guys in the chat hitting the like button and subscribing, or our members, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be able to put out everything. So let's not forget that. So shout out to all of you that is in the chats, including our Buffalo Bills fans. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for stopping by. In addition, shout out to our affiliates, right? Let's not forget, we got Fanatics, officially licensed everything, right? Use the link below, right? I actually, true story, I actually purchased something off of Fanatics today, right? I used the TFTG link below. I got the same deals, the same everything. All it does is tells Fanatics, hey, TFTG sent you. And it gives us some credit, right? So I ordered a brand new hat. It is fire. I mean, it is massive fire. I'm going to open box it here on the show live so everybody can see it. This hat looks fire, right? I cannot wait. It is going to be something, right? So check out Fanatics. They got some really good deals, officially licensed everything for virtually any sport, any team. Check them out. Let's also not forget Backroom Collections. Backroom Collections has tons and tons of custom artwork. Sorry about that. They have custom artwork for Miami Dolphins and other sports, and they do custom stuff. Different types of canvases. You can even customize it. They even have accessories for the little mini helmets. They got a ton of stuff, right? Check them out with the link below. And in addition, check out Doobie Energy Drink. All these shows, all these content we're putting out. Man, you're going to need some energy to stay up all night and binge watch all this stuff, right? Check out Doobie Energy Drink. It's all smash, no crash. They claim they don't provide the jittering and crashing like most other energy drinks, like this company, which I will not name. Check them out. They have a lot more vitamins and minerals that actually is very beneficial to the brain functionality and concentration and stuff. They have a lot less of the harmful byproducts that they put in these energy drinks. So check out Doobie Energy Drink. And if you don't take my word for it, ask Shake Money. He has some videos they put out for his reviews, and he does a review every Saturday with it. He says it's pretty good, so I'm going to take his word for it and put in my order soon. If you'd like to save 10% off of Backroom Collections and Doobie Energy Drink, use code TFTG at checkout. Save 10% off, right? So shout out to our affiliates. Also, don't forget the merch store at tftgnetwork.com. That's right. Again, that's tftgnetwork.com. Check out your one-stop shop for TFTG everything. You got our merch store there. Tons and tons of fan-inspired. That means you guys in the audience inspired products that we are selling that has little sayings that we had, things that we talked about, a lot of funny and fun stuff. Checking them out. T-shirts, the mugs and everything, all that kind of stuff is all there. Check it out. Become you have access to be a part of the Patreon, or you want to be in the newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter, you get 10% off your order. During the season, we're gonna be putting blogs up about continuing storylines and stuff throughout the season. That's where you're gonna be able to read our articles and stuff. There's gonna be a lot more that goes on tftgnetwork.com. And while I'm hanging out here, and I know he's been in the back for a hot minute, but I'm gonna put on some rock music for my co-host. Everybody with me. Put a good round of applause for the man, the myth, the legend. Color. Color is up in the house.
I am. How's it going, Ollie?
Good morning, color.
everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Good morning. All right. It's going to be one hell of a morning. And while I have you, color, let me do the quick weather report. So August 14th, Monday. It's a high of 91, color, low of 82. It's going to be super hot, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. They got winds from the east, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And it looks like there's about a 15% chance of rain, it says. So that's as of right now. But that can change at a moment's notice. So stay cool, my friends. Stay cool, please. And that is your TFTG network weather report.
It's
So,
hot. That's it.
Yeah. So how
It's
was
already
your
dripping.
weekend, Colin?
Pretty
How was
good.
your
Pretty
weekend?
good. Pretty good. Nice and relaxing. It started obviously early with Friday night football action that we've all been talking about all weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday, everybody, there was the post game Saturday reaction that, everybody probably put a lot of energy to Saturday, but I pretty much just relaxed. It rained all day yesterday and, kind of just recovered. But, we're ready for some football. Lots of news got dumped out on Sunday for us considering, this point in the off season with very little change. They did quite dump a lot of information on us yesterday, so that's pretty cool. We'll talk about all of it.
Definitely, color. A lot of news fell, and we'll definitely talk a lot about it, and we'll also give some updates from stuff that happened even on Sunday. But let's start off with the preseason game. Let's do that first, color. Let's tell our audience what happened, how it what we experienced. There's already some concerns about stuff that's going outside of the stadium, let alone inside the stadium. So let's address some of that, right? So I picked you up. I came from Port St. Lucie area to come pick you up in the West Palm area. And with the heavy traffic, it took longer than expected. Instead of being an hour drive, it felt like it was an hour and 45-minute drive to pick you up.
Yeah,
Color.
it was one of those typical South Florida rush hours. Yep.
Yeah, and then what usually is about an hour drive from you to the stadium took an additional 2 hours. So from Port St. Lucie to Miami to the stadium, it virtually took about 4 hours to get there. It was ridiculous, right? We get parked and we park and the national anthem is already going, and we were already having to park in the back of the yellow lot and having to rush to get to the entrance and get in the stadium and everything. So we missed about half the first quarter, right? The atmosphere was good. I heard a lot of "Let's Go Dolphins" chants, and people taking pictures and having fun with the camera and whatnot on the big Megatron and stuff. And the kids were into it. It seemed like a typical preseason game, and so was the quality of game. Go ahead.
I'd also like to add, Ali, when we were driving in fashionably late, the line to get into the stadium area on the exit ramp of I-95 was bumper to bumper all the way out into the interstate. I mean, it was like I've seen less traffic on Sunday morning for game day. So I'm going to say we had a good show, and fans were excited to be there that night and see everybody, get a good fresh taste of new football, preseason or not. And man, you had a lot of people show up and show their support for such an early preseason game with so little meaning. That stadium, man, it showed up, man. I have to give us credit.
Yeah, they definitely showed up.
It looked better for that game all around than it did for the Vikings game in the regular season last year.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, some of the pictures don't really tell the true story that you'll see in the crowd and whatnot, because it looks like there's like a lot of empty seats. That may have been the case in the beginning of the game, but as the game went on later on, it started to get a little busier and busier.
That's true, and it could also be the opposite, Ali, because there's like a wave. Because obviously it's preseason, and once people realized just how boring it is, a lot of people
Yeah.
probably, ended up on the promenade, just, visiting with each other and, whatever else. So,
Yeah, that's
but the
definitely
place,
true.
the facility was packed. The facility had a large number of people there for a Friday night in
Mhm.
August, when the football isn't even real, so, it
Yeah,
was a good
definitely.
showing.
Yeah, so I mean, it was very interesting, and like for me, like I said, there's this huge line, and it caused confusion. And I think some of the traffic was caused because of the changes to parking color. So I don't know if you know this, but the Miami Dolphins changed their color zones because of some of the construction to the new F1 racetrack and everything. And they changed the parking, so certain areas that you could park before that may have been blue or black, or I think there's like a maroon area maybe. They're changed. They're no longer blue and black. They either switched to orange, or some of the other, they made variations to the other parking lots. And they also changed the routes that you would take to get to those parking lots. And I think some of that caused confusion. People were stuck in the wrong line and having to figure out how to get around people. And I think that caused some of the issues that you had, because there was people trying to get in throughout the entire game, to be honest. It wasn't just in the beginning that everyone was trying to get in. I know, because when I was going to the team store or going to grab a beer, and it was halftime, I looked over across the way, because you can see the front of the stadium and everything, and you see people parking and walking in and stuff still. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a normal game where everybody's in by the first quarter. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Caller?
yeah, that's it. I think a lot of people were there for the camaraderie and
Mhm.
the atmosphere and just being with fellow fans and the team, and and
Mhm.
let's face it, I mean, we're we all understand what preseason is about, but when you're a fan of football, even the
Mhm.
smell of that grass makes a difference. I
This
mean,
is true. This is
you
definitely
go into
true.
the stadium, you smell the grass, you smell the atmosphere, you're just football's back, and
Yeah, and that
everybody's
also
so
holds
eager
true.
for everybody wants a
Mm.
taste of that. So it was,
Yeah, even the players, which we'll actually get into that, because there's some players that make comment to that as well, Color. So we'll definitely talk about that soon. Before we do, Color, as we always do here on Top of the Tailgate, let's do some of our other things here. It's coffee of the week. What you drinking? Any coffee right now?
yeah, I'm actually drinking back onto some Tim Hortons
Tim Hortons.
original medium roast. Yeah. Um,
Interesting. Interesting. How is it?
excellent. I think it's one of my main. I think it's one of my main three go-tos. It's got a really smooth flavor, great smell in the morning, as you like to. Some people like really like that nice aroma in the morning. We all love it, but I mean,
Mhm.
some coffees it really wakes you up, and some you don't even notice. But this one, yeah, you can tell it's brewing, and
Mhm.
uh, and also Tim Hortons. For those that don't know, is a kind of like a little donut franchise out of Canada that is meant to
Yeah,
sort of compete with a place like Dunkin' Donuts or all rights
Starbucks or
reserved and
something. Yeah.
Starbucks. Yeah. So their coffee is going to be comparable to something like Dunkin' Donuts. I actually think it's very similar myself. That's why I kind of
Mm.
gravitate towards it. But yeah, it's a decent cup of coffee
Yeah.
considering the
I
source.
actually, when I was in Canada, I swear they have Tim Hortons everywhere. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's not like every city pretty much has a few Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks or whatever, right?
Hmm.
But I swear to God, when I was in Toronto, at every corner there was a Tim Hortons.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally, that's what it felt like. So
And other than the
I'm
color
very familiar
scheme
with Tim
being
Hortons.
right, other than the color scheme being different, it is pretty much a lot like walking into a Dunkin' Donuts.
Fair enough.
Like the way that they market stuff, the
Even
things they
their
have on
food
the
is very similar
menu.
too. Hmm.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, I'm drinking
what you drinking?
I am drinking Great Value still. Tomorrow I'll be going to the grocery store to pick up something new. I think I'm gonna get something exotic. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but something exotic. And what I mean by exotic, maybe something South American or Caribbean, something like that. I'm actually in talks with someone that works for a coffee company in Puerto Rico, so we might be getting some free Puerto Rican coffee here, color to try out and do a review on.
All right,
So
all
that
right. I don't think that's. I don't know if I've ever tried a bean that was, either grown or just, or distributed out of Puerto Rico. That'd be interesting.
yeah, it'll be really interesting. So
I
I'm
could
gonna
have
get
and
some
just
of that.
not known it, but
hmm
uh, but yeah, I'd like to try some
Do
of that
you
out. Sure.
do you have the? I know you use a Keurig machine like I do. Do you have the little filter thing that allows you to use your own beans or grounds?
I do. I have misplaced it over the years, but I do have it.
If you need an extra one, I have an extra one. I'll give it to you because I don't know if they have K cups.
Mhm.
If they do, I'm gonna make sure we get those. But if they don't, we at least we have one of those things to try it out. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So so we'll definitely have to check that out. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Great value. It's as it says, it's a great value. You get exceptional taste for an exceptional price.
Mhm.
It's
Which is
not the
why
best.
which is why you still have it and are drinking it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best and it's not the worst either. You know what I mean? Now here's a good comparison color. I need to compare this to Aldi's because Aldi's is my great value brand that I usually go with, to be
Right,
honest.
right.
So
Or even just for the
mhm.
information, the Publix premium.
Well, Publix Premium, I think, is a little bit more premium than theirs. It's more
Really, you
pricier.
think? Yeah.
Well, it is priced. It's more expensive than Aldi's or Great Value.
Yeah, that's true.
Aldi's and Great Value is less than $5 for a box of like 12.
Mhm. Okay,
So
okay.
whereas
So in that, so
Publix
right,
Premium, go
yep.
ahead, I'm
For that
sorry.
perspective, you've got some like the Tim Hortons is generally like 8 something, which is a cheaper cost than
Yeah,
your higher end brands. And yeah, you can see Publix will be like $10, where Tim Hortons is
yeah,
even $8, or 8 o'clock coffee might be, they're still carrying a premium price. But yeah, there's some
yeah.
times where even the Publix brand can be more expensive than some brand names.
Oh yeah, definitely. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I feel like with between the Aldi's and the Great Value, I want to say the Aldi's provide a little. It's actually not called Aldi's. The brand name of it. That's Burismo. I just call it Aldi's coffee because that's where I go to get it. But Burismo is the brand of the coffee that I get from Aldi's, and taste, their taste is a little bit better than the Great Value. Like you can taste a little bit more. It tastes a little bit more premium, and the aroma is a little bit better when it comes to the Great Value. You know what I mean? Um,
Right. And
yeah,
you're more likely to get a cheaper brand. Not, I
mhm,
shouldn't say cheaper, but what happens is, take for instance Publix.
yeah,
They're based out of Lakeland, Florida.
mhm,
And you generally only see them in the southeast. I think their furthest north store recently opened in Kentucky or Tennessee or something. They're like mainly the southeast only.
mhm,
And so in order to keep that cost low, they're obviously not going to get coffee from beans that are grown in the western or in the eastern hemisphere. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So you're going to have a lot more western hemisphere beans, which is going to give you a little more western hemisphere flavor, like your Colombian coffees or your Cuban coffees, or Peruvian, or a lot of what you see from gosh, things like your Colombian blends or whatever.
Mhm.
But even some of your dark French roasts will taste like that too, because obviously there's a big trade network going on from the places that France occupies over in the Western Hemisphere. So, even the dark French roasts can be more like a Western Hemisphere type bean, But that being said, if you're talking about Publix, generally speaking, they're going to get a bean that's close to them. So it's cheaper to bring in to import, you know what I mean, into their
Yeah.
facilities and all that. Or they may even be growing it themselves in the South Florida dirt. Either case, it's going to taste like a bean from the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah, I definitely understand. It'll be very interesting when I try this Puerto Rican coffee. But speaking of coffees and something different, I might go to somewhere like I don't know if people in the audience know what this place is called, but it's called Sprouts. They're a grocery store, very similar to like a Trader Joe's, from my understanding. It's kind of similar to that, but they're very high premium foods that they sell there, from their produce to meats. It's like the best premium meats, the best produce, the fresh produce that they have. It's one of the few places that you can go and actually buy candy by the pound. You get a little bag and you scoop up the candy, or their coffees. They have the barrels full of coffee color, the beans and everything. They also have like one of the largest holistic medicines and everything. Well, I went there to buy coffee one day because I was right next door, and I was like, I need to buy some coffee. And come to find out, they have a slew of different Keurig cup coffees, but they're all primarily like high-end premium coffees, or all organic, I should say, right? So I actually
or like family-owned and operated companies and stuff like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see the companies. I wasn't very familiar with any of them, to be honest.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. They're like smaller, like companies that are a little more,
maybe, but it's all like all natural, organic, and all that kind of stuff. So that being said, I'm gonna actually try those to see how they are. But I will say they are very expensive,
right.
So I might not try them all the time. Because one small 10 cups or whatever was like $15, to give you an example.
Right.
That's expensive when it comes to coffee, I mean, in my opinion. So it better be good coffee if I'm paying that much. But I'm gonna do the review and see how it goes. So
and by the way,
for
all the brands we've mentioned, all rights reserved. Just to shout out to all of them. You're welcome. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ali.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. We don't have any affiliation with these brands. We're just doing coffee reviews. Color and I enjoy a good cup of coffee. That's how it goes. That's all we're doing.
Publix is like, damn, we ain't even got to pay for these guys, man. Are they for real?
Yeah, well, not gonna lie. Publix premium coffee is not that bad. It's actually.
I'll shout out Publix whether they ever pay me or not.
Mm-hmm.
I love that place.
So I don't have a cause for cleats today, Color. Unfortunately, I don't. Do you have one that you want to shout?
Other than the Anti-Insomnia Foundation of America. No, I don't have one myself. But other than to recognize that it is always a good thing if it is within your means to help your fellow man. Animals, whatever your favorite cause is, and just get out there and just give some money to people.
Definitely. Listen,
if you don't have anybody to give money to, give it to us.
The Color. Listen. I don't. First of all, we're not affiliated with any specific organization or charity or a cause for cleat or anything. We're just putting a shout out to all of them because they do wonders for people, and for people that are in need and everything, and they do a lot for the youth and people that are suffering from something or whatever. There's a lot of causes, and there are a lot of great things that come out of it. That's all we're doing, is bringing awareness. Now, if I've gone over pretty much everybody that I could see that the Dolphins supported. Now, there may be more ones that I'm not aware of. If there is a cause for cleat that you want me to shout out, put it in the comments on YouTube below this video, right? Put it in the comments.
Even if it's not one of the NFL players, even if it's your own personal cause that nobody knows or you don't think anybody knows about, just shout out, reach out to Ali or myself,
or put it in the comments below.
By means of any socials, exactly, or the comment section, sure.
Yeah, and put in it, just if you could, which would be very helpful. Please put in the website to that cause, right? Like to give you an example, cancersociety.org or something like that. Whatever the .org is, put that in the comment so that I can easily find it, read about it, learn about it, then I can shout it out.
Yep, right? And then we can tell people where to go to help it. So You know, if you got your own obscure cause out there that nobody knows about that you think needs to be drawn attention to, just let us know.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys. So, and while you're doing it, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Turn on the notification. All right, so let's keep it moving. Colors. We talked about cause for cleats. Road to 1,000. We're still trying to get to 1,000 Twitter followers each. I'm close. You know, if anybody that's on Twitter, look up my name. It's Ali Ali underscore DA underscore Persian, as you can see right here, and also at ColorCom for color. Come find us, hit the follow button, turn on your notifications. You know, we do updates, we tweet about the NFL. You know, it's a good way to get information about our shows that we're going to be having and everything. That's how we advertise through Twitter.
Yep. And by the way, for anybody that follows that I haven't followed back or whatever, it's just because I missed it. I'll get around to following you back once I notice you did. Don't take offense to it if I've missed you and haven't followed back. I generally follow people back. And I'm growing at a snail's pace, but it has been ramping up ever since we've been letting y'all know. I don't do all the little tricks and things and all that to grow my Twitter followers, so it's kind of growing at a natural, organic pace. You know what I mean? So shout out to all my followers. They're generally real people, so that's kind of why I do it that way. But we're getting I might be up over 600 now. I'm not really sure, but I'm getting there, man. Slowly but surely, I'm getting there.
Yeah, we want to get to 1,000, and the reason for that is I feel we're at our best when we're all connected, and it's the easy way for us to let you know that shows are coming up and what events are going on with TFTG, as well as if you're in a space. I want to learn about what your guys' interests are. And, you know, if you're in a space, we can join your space and listen to the conversation. Or, you know, if we're in a Miami Dolphin space, you can come join our space and we can converse. It's the best way to instantly communicate back and forth. So that's why. All right. So let's keep it moving. So time for some football, Color. We got some articles, some video. Yeah. Let's do some housekeeping stuff real quick first, and let me just bring this up here because there was some games today, and I wanted to talk about it. So the San Francisco 49ers played the Las Vegas Raiders in the preseason, right? And the Raiders rolled over the 49ers like clockwork, right? They won 34-7, right? You had Trey Lance 10 for 15, 112 yards, 1 touchdown, and he was sacked 4 times, right? And then you had
that's brutal.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal. It doesn't look like Brock Purdy played at all. Sam Darnold was 5 for 8, 84 yards.
A little more productive.
Yeah, no sacks, no interceptions, so that's good. Yeah.
Typical Sam Darnold performance. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. On the Raiders side, they had it looks like 2 people I don't really know. 15 for 18. The quarterback's name is O'Connell. 141 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack, no interceptions. And then you had Garbers. I don't know who Garbers is. He went 3 for 5, only 11 yards with 1 touchdown. So very interesting. Looks like today's game was primarily I'm looking here just to check here. Let's see. They get to 34. Oh, the rushing. I see it now. Yeah, they had a good balanced attack, it looks like, between receiving and the rushing. So, shout out to the Raiders.
That game right there, Ali, illustrates a great point that people have been trying to make about the preseason. Nobody in their right mind thinks that San Francisco is that bad off. They're on Kyle Shanahan's timetable. They're not on Josh McDaniels' timetable. They're not on Las Vegas's timetable. You know, Josh McDaniels is not on Shanahan's timetable. The Raiders are not on the 49ers timetable, and you get a bunch of grown men playing a sport trying to make a team clash at each other, and you never know what the results are going to be. And there you go. The Raiders stomping the Niners. I mean, nobody thinks that that's actually a measure of these two teams in the regular season. Now, it could be an indicator for both teams. Sure, there could be things they can be indicated. Like, for instance, maybe Josh McDaniels is that good of an offensive coordinator, you know what I mean, that he can produce points with a bunch of scrubs while he's trying to figure things out or whatever. Maybe maybe his bravado, he game planned for him or something, or when nobody really cares or whatever it is. I'm just saying that, it does indicate, okay, they got a good guy at the helm, I guess, but it's no measure of what they actually are once the regular season starts and they're really playing a team like the 49ers.
Yeah, I can't agree more, Color. I mean, listen. As I've said it and I keep saying it, the preseason is just an experiment. That's all it is. It's an experiment. You add different variables and you use it as an evaluation tool. It's not till you have the 53-man roster that these teams are actually practicing it with the goal of actually accomplishing something that is a finished product. That is not until the 53-man roster has been selected. So
Ali, it comes down. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it comes down to the fact that all these people that want to sit here and say, "Oh, you guys are trash," I'm like, it's preseason. Everybody looks like trash. You're not supposed to really have everything clicking until right before your first game, bro. I'm sorry. How many times have we gone undefeated and you see the Patriots lose all their preseason games and go on to still win the Super Bowl? The preseason means nothing.
I think the Ravens just celebrated their 26th straight preseason win.
That's right.
I mean, does anybody think that the Ravens are the 72 Dolphins because they haven't lost a preseason game in 26 games? I mean,
yeah,
of course not. And the thing that it is, Ali, is it's really semantics almost, because you could argue, and some people have used this word to describe the NFL preseason games. If you're talking about an outside the football world, in the media, whatever, where you have heard it referred to as an exhibition game. But these are not exhibition games. The NFL doesn't call them exhibition games. Nobody that's involved deeply with football or as a fan has ever seen them as exhibition games. You know what I mean? They are not meant to exhibit anything to anybody, especially the fans. That's what we expect. We think, oh, this is a football game. This is our football team. We always want to win. We're Dolphin fans. I get it. And upsets us when we look at a scoreboard that says 19-3 and we got the 3. It doesn't matter if it's a preseason game or not. It upsets us. We're fans. I get it. And I'm right with y'all. But it really is like nothing. It really is nothing. It is not an exhibition.
Yeah. I mean, think of it this way, Color. What's to say that Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio sat their offense and defense down and said, "Hey, listen, we're not going into these preseason games to win. We're going in these preseason games for you to show me why you have the talent that you have, and why we should select you for the 53-man roster." Because technically, if you really think about it, 90% of the people that played are fighting for a spot on this team, right? And what's to say that he gave instructions to certain groups of positions? Hey, I want you guys during the game focus on this. And, Mike McDaniel said, hey, offensive line, I want you guys to focus on this. And this is what I'm going to be looking for. Right. What's to say they didn't do that? And if you win the game, that's a byproduct. Okay, great. But, it wasn't necessary. I wanted you I'm only evaluating certain things. What's to say that he's not doing that? Now, I don't have any inside information. I don't know what Mike McDaniel or Vic Fangio are really doing. But just being honest, these preseason things in the history of the NFL honestly don't mean anything. Many
Right.
Super Bowl teams have lost multiple preseason games and still won a Super Bowl, right?
Right. And if the
Many,
coaching staff is not in the mode of practicing game day, then they literally don't even care situationally what's going on sometimes. If I'm in the middle of running a series of plays to look at certain stuff and it's 3rd and 2, I don't care if I'm right in the middle of a train of thought trying to look at a certain thing. I'm calling a play to continue that train of thought. I'm not trying to, oh, it's 3rd and 2. We better pick up the first down to win this game. You know what I mean? Like, no, I mean, I might be calling a play that nobody would ever call on 3rd and 2 because I want to know what this dude, I was just in the middle of evaluating this player and I need to get another play in to see something real quick. I don't care that it's 3rd and 2. That's what people don't understand. It's not an exhibition. An exhibition example of an exhibition game would be like in the NBA where the Chicago Bulls go to St. Louis to play a game because the St. Louis fans love basketball and they don't have a basketball team.
Yeah. And Color, here's the proof to our point, right? Here's the proof to our point. I challenge anybody to go back and watch the preseason game, right? I believe on NFL Network, they'll have a replay. If you have the NFL Plus, I think you can go and watch the replay now, right? Go watch the replay of the preseason game, right? Go watch the offense specifically. The offense specifically did not do anything exotic. They did not do anything that we have not seen before. In fact, the plays that they ran were really the most basic things that we ran last year during the season. So there was nothing special about any single play that they did. Right? It's nothing Tua hasn't done or done in his sleep. Nothing. There was not one single thing that was different. So that means to me that they are not taking this so seriously that they have to come up with exotic packages just for this team. They are doing this in the basic evaluation. I'm going to have everybody run the similar plays, and I want to see certain things done on these plays to see if you have a thing, some type, they're trying to evaluate how good at what they do and how they'll fit in the plays that they actually want to run during the season. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I can actually give you 2 examples of what we're talking about. The first example being the first time we were faced with a 4th and I believe it was 4th and short near the goal line, and we ended up going for it instead of kicking the field goal. There was 20 seconds left in the half. Okay. Now you could say, well, we got to come up with some points, make us feel good. Normally in a game, yeah, sure, get something on the board before halftime. But there's 20 seconds before the half. It's a 4th down situation. We're down by 9 at that point. Okay, I believe. And so McDaniel's thinking, well, here's a situation we can practice. Let's imagine it's the 4th quarter and not the 2nd. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. We have to score a touchdown. Field goal's not going to win it. It's 4th down. You see what I'm saying? He did was imagine in his head that of the difference of the point in the game to be able to practice a situational issue. Okay. The second example I'll give, which is obviously going to make people think I've got an ulterior motive in bringing up this example, but so be it if that's what you think, because it's probably true. We were driving with Skylar, like, I don't know, 3rd, 4th quarter, whenever it was. And there was a point at which we were moving the ball pretty good. And we ended up getting like a holding penalty and then like another penalty. And then Skylar got sacked on like a no chance out of the gate blitz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's like 3rd and 19 near midfield, right? Well, normally you would probably call something like a screen or a draw play or something right there to try to eat more yardage, get a couple more yardage back just to have better position for the punt. And maybe you break one and pick up the first down, right? It's kind of that's a more conservative way that people go in that situation in the NFL. We see it all the time. And you're thinking, damn, you didn't even try on 3rd and 19 because it's 3rd and 19. I mean, come on. You don't want to necessarily do something stupid either and turn over the ball. So that's generally why coaches go conservative right there and kind of run a draw play or something or a bubble screen or something, And instead of doing that, which I thought to myself, okay, normally this is what you do. But, man, I even in my own mind before the team huddled up for that 3rd and 19, in my own mind as a fan, as a lover of football, as a guy who, fashions himself as trying to live vicariously through these coaches and imagine if I was there making that decision and it's preseason and all that. And the decision I came up in my head was, oh, F this drive. Just practice a deep play or something and just chuck it up. And that is literally what Skylar did.
Yeah.
And it was intercepted.
Yep.
It was a garbage play. From start to finish, it was like whatever. The entire team checked out on that freaking play, man. Come on. Mm-hmm. It's preseason. And we're going to sit here and go, nanny, nanny, boo, boo. He threw an interception. It's our own player, people. And if you think you're laughing at somebody that likes Skylar because you're laughing at Skylar, no, you're just laughing at Skylar.
Oh, my God. Color. So, yeah, I agree completely. If you're going to... Here's the reality. I would rather them do just handle the preseason games as practice, to be honest, right? Run plays, work on throwing motions, work on getting rid of the ball the most. That was the biggest problem in our preseason game. All the quarterbacks seemed to want to hold on to the ball. That was my issue. Yeah, the plays didn't develop. There was some actually looks that they didn't take and they should have. And, that's to me, that was one of the biggest problems. But I'd rather them doing it now than in the regular season. And that's basically where I'm at.
Exactly. When you're sitting there in the regular season and you're at that point, like we were with 3rd and 19 as a fan, You're going, oh, I know they have to run that draw play, but God, why doesn't anybody just try to throw it deep right there? You still have to punt anyway. Well, in the preseason, you can do those fun things. You know what I mean? And it didn't work out for Skylar on that play. What can I say? You know what I mean? Or the team in general. But I don't think it was meant to. I think it was honestly, well, we got to play. We ain't going to get nothing out of this drive. Like, we got to play here that we can literally practice anything we want.
This is true.
All
right. So let's get into the first article of this show, bro. Let's actually get into it and because I have 3 articles we need to go over, and then I have some videos we need to break down and talk about, okay? So, first off, by Omar Kelly, he put this out about 8 hours ago. Actually, a little bit more than that. The three interceptions Tua threw in Sunday's practice continued the Dolphins' offensive struggles. Yeah, 3 interceptions don't look good in practice, color. Here is basically what he said. We're officially on 5 straight practices or games where the Miami Dolphins offense has put together an underwhelming performance. Look, I'm not counting the preseason game, color, only because of the fact that they didn't play any of their starters. It was virtually the 2nd, 3rd, 4th teamers. That's basically what you saw mostly, right?
Right. I think I know where you're going with this, but keep going.
In the joint practices in Friday night's 19-3 loss to Atlanta, the fingers of blame can't be pointed to other quarterbacks, but during Sunday's indoor practice, there was nobody else to blame but Tua, who handled every single snap for the offense. Okay. And the outcome of Sunday's sessions wasn't pretty. Take a look who performed well, and it might explain why Tua struggled. Here we go. Top performer. And this is going to shake Money out of his bed. Shake Money's probably going to be slamming the door open.
I know what you're going to say.
Noah Igbenogany has one man standing between him and a starting spot for the season opener, and that's himself. With Cam Smith limited by a shoulder injury he suffered in Friday night's preseason opener, Noah has a clear path to be the starting spot if he remains consistent and flashes playmaking ability. The pick six interception he pulled down on Tua, pass intended for Cedric Wilson Jr. during the first 11-on-11 period, hints that Noah has turned the page on his past struggles. Well, I'll be damned, Color. I'll be damned. Holy shit.
What a great thing to hear, man. I really am. I'm just really happy to hear that, bro. That's all I can say, man.
I am too. I mean, how many times that we've been around here saying that this guy gets lost in coverage, he don't belong on this team. Well, get him out of here. Put him in the back of the truck. Drop him off at the Greyhound stop. How many times did we say that over last year and so on, right?
Yep.
Finally turned the page. He's doing what we want some of our other players on the offensive line to do.
And
That
to give
is what this guy is
consistent
doing.
energy, Ali, I still don't have no faith in the guy. I don't have faith. I don't operate that way. He's still got to show me something and put it on the field and make a difference in the regular season. I know he has before. I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm not one of those people that ignores past contributions. But, I still don't have faith. I'm going to keep the consistent energy.
Well,
but this is what you want to see out of a player that is actually improving.
Definitely. And to make it easier for people at home, Color is not a man of faith. And as such, he doesn't have faith. So he won't believe it till he actually sees it proven on the field. That's basically how he is wired. Am I correct, Color?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer. This is going to be kind of ironic, but I'm a firm believer that we don't choose our beliefs. We don't choose what we're convinced of. It's an autonomic reaction based on whatever you see and the evidence you feel is valid for yourself or whatever else. We're not convinced of our beliefs. And as such, we're not convinced of our we're not in control of our non-beliefs either. If I'm not convinced of something, I'm not going to make believe that I am for the sake of other people.
Very interesting. Let's keep it moving, Color. The next person on the line, it's in that secondary, free safety, Javon Holland. The Dolphins star safety undercut a deep route to Tyreek in the second 11-11 period of Sunday's practice. The interception illustrated the playmaking ability the former Oregon standout has in this defense, which will ask him to fill numerous roles. Fellow safety Deshaun Elliott also pulled down an interception. There you go, Deshaun Elliott, Color. On a pass that bounced off Wilson's hand, but Holland gets the edge because he ran the route just as well as Hill did. Look, I knew this defense was going to be good, and I knew they were going to be, they're doing whatever they can to start that interception chain, and it seems like they finally got that interception lawnmower running, Color, right? And now they're riding all over the field. That's something that I think was lacking from the defense last season was the two turnover battles. You fix that problem, you get the interceptions, the fumble recoveries equally, because we did get quite a few fumble recoveries last season, but not anywhere near enough.
Not near at the pace we were in 2021.
Yeah.
Which could explain the increase in points per game against us. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So we just need to
just by itself explain that.
Yeah, I'm really glad seeing more and more interceptions, more that kind of stuff and turnovers from my defense.
We're getting back to what we are, Ali. That's what we are, man.
That is what we are.
It gets hot and swarmy and ugly in Miami in that time of the year, and we are built to capitalize on other teams' mistakes when they get frustrated because of the heat and humidity and all that other stuff. So, yeah.
So here we go. The next thing, next top performer. And this is not any shock to me because I think he should be a starter. Offensive guard Isaiah Wynn. Based on his performance running with the second team offense against the Falcons, it's a matter of when, not if, Wynn gets the full bulk of the first team reps as the starting left guard. Head coach Mike McDaniel already is hinting that a chance is coming. Liam Eichenberg's daily struggles have opened the door for Wynn, a 40-game starter for the New England Patriots, to push his way up the depth chart. And if he produces a strong week of practice against the Texans, the starting spot could be his. That's good to know. And then last but not least, stock down color. Any guesses on who that might be?
Well, I'll go ahead and make a guess using my own personal speak for myself stock down player. So I'll think, well, obviously, based on what you just said about the rise of Isaiah Wynn and the fact that, because we have so much time left, just because Liam Eichenberg is in the front roll every time we see them doesn't mean he's going to be the guy starting against the Chargers on week 1. So I would imagine that based on what you said about Isaiah Wynn, that the stock down would have to be Liam Eichenberg.
Well, while I agree with you, Liam Eichenberg's stock continues to fall like really bad, even more so than what Wall Street did back during the Great Depression. It's not Liam Eichenberg. This person is going to wake up Batman, and he's going to come and try to raid my show through StreamYard.
Oh, I know who it's going to be, and I ain't using that word. I'm sorry. You ain't hearing me say that.
All right, but I didn't say this. This is per Omar Kelly, first of all. Make sure it's Omar, not Alan.
Because stock down or not, he wouldn't be the one I would have chosen anyway, Ollie. You know what I mean?
It is Omar Kelly that's making this claim. Players are allowed to have a bad day. I don't think I've ever seen him throw this many interceptions in a practice, but it's happened. Tua, it wasn't just the interceptions, according to Omar Kelly. He said it wasn't just the interceptions that Tua threw that were disappointing. The fourth-year starter was off the mark on a handful of passes, some of which hit the ground before they even got close to his intended target. There were also a handful of would-be sacks caused by sensational coverage, more so than offensive linemen, tight ends, and tailbacks getting beat because the tide of the offense was with the quarterback performance. It's easy to say Tua needs to tighten the screws on his overall execution. Nobody cares that he is working without Jalen Waddle and now Braxton Berrios. His job is to protect the football, move the offense into scoring territory, and to execute in the red zone. And that's per Omar Kelly.
So did he just suggest that our success, no matter who's at quarterback, is determined by whether Jalen Waddle is catching the football or not?
No, that's not what he said. I think you.
Well, I'm just saying since Jalen Waddle wasn't there, he wasn't there to be able to catch the football. But in other games with our other quarterbacks, he drops the football. So what it seems like is our quarterback's success, no matter who it is contingent upon whether Jalen Waddle catches the football or not.
Well, that's okay. I can see why you're kind of insinuating that, but I think to what Omar is, on the real, I think what he's trying to say is it doesn't matter who the wide receivers are. He should be able to throw the ball to them. That's basically
right. And all I'm saying is you're right.
Well, I do understand. Yeah. I get where you're going with that. I get it. Yeah. So let's see. Let's keep it moving. But that's interesting.
And that's just us keeping the same energy for the whole room, Ollie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know if they gave a break to some of the players that played pretty much the entire game on Friday. He looked good, bro. I mean, he does look
right.
Much
I'm just saying we put it pretty hard on Mike White and Skylar Thompson yesterday, or I'm sorry, Saturday. Yeah, we put it pretty hard on those guys as a fan base, man, for what they were working with. Yet Waddle's out one practice, and look what happens to our first team squad. And we're not supposed to say the same thing. We're supposed to say, oh no, people want me to keep the same energy. So either the wide receiver room needs to show up when Waddle's not in there, okay, for Tua included, and we can't blame Tua, or which means we can't blame Skylar and Mike for Friday night, or all the quarterbacks suck and they need to step up when Waddle's not in the lineup. It can only be one of those two, Ali.
You're absolutely right, Color. And I had to put my my blinders on because I'm being blinded by all the logic you're hitting me with. So I mean, I agree.
I
So
know. No, but
I'm messing around.
If you got a second to hear my take on yesterday's practice overall, Capitan and I were discussing it privately, and we kind of like came up. Well, I should say we were discussing privately with some other people that we know too that have more information, let's say, than we do. Dare I say, sauce? Okay, somebody wasn't really pleased with how first team was carrying themselves. And, when it comes to, there's some kind of, there's talks about, hey, the guys were either out late Saturday, celebrating it up because they feel so good about themselves, or they're carrying themselves as if they're the guys because nobody had to play Friday night and they're having some kind of shindig. And McDaniel's like, I'm in here cracking the books to figure out on a Sunday, trying to figure out what we need to do to fix what the things we evaluated Friday. And y'all are carrying yourselves like, because you didn't play like, you're all locked. Hey guys, why don't you come on in? I got some things I was looking at in these books I'm cracking. I need to try out real quick. Little spot quiz, little spot practice. Not only that, but let's see just how everybody's mind is focused on football right now, since it is football season. Okay. And he calls the guys in and says, look, we need to work on these few things, and this is what we got on a spot practice. So I'm going to say pump the brakes. It's a lazy Sunday. I don't expect, I get it. Everybody has a bad day. I'm not saying, oh, what a crappy day by Tua and all this, that, and the other, or told you so and this and that. But there are some, talks behind the scenes that somebody wasn't pleased with how we're carrying ourselves. And because Mike McDaniel wasn't intending to have practice yesterday, but thought that the guys who did not play Friday needed some reps. Why did he think that all of a sudden? Why didn't he just give them the reps Friday night? Because that was a, hey, how do you handle yourself type of deal. Nobody's going to play Friday night. How do you handle yourself on that? And I'm pretty sure he didn't like the way our first and second teams handled themselves. And so guess what? It's Sunday, and we're going to see just how prepared you all are in this football season. Are you putting as much time and effort into it as I am as the head coach? Because there's also, public rumors going around about him and Greer having some, tiff or whatever. And, Mike McDaniel's trying to crack the books and do everything he can to make this team right. And if the team ain't carrying themselves like that on a Sunday, and he is, then he's going to make sure they are. And so it was like phone calls started going out. Hey, I'm looking at this because I'm actually working right now. I was looking at this stuff and I need to check something out. Everybody come in for practice real quick. These guys, you know what I mean? And we fell flat on our face if you're talking about that kind of leadership test. You know what I mean? We fell flat on our faces, bro. That's what yesterday's practice would indicate to me. I'm not looking at it as functional X's and O's. Obviously Tua is what he is at this point and all that. So I'm not looking at it like, oh, a terrible day and all that. But I am concerned about the leadership aspect involved if that's what kind of test we were just looking at. A pop quiz, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure, but we'll We'll definitely have to look into it.
I know that seems elaborate, but we've heard some talk about from people that we know, and that's just I'm going to leave it at that because I don't like to throw around sources and stuff like that. It just is what it is.
But
That's a very real plausibility.
but this
scenario I
isn't
just
the
laid
first time. But Color, this isn't the first time that he's done this either, right? We're talking about Mike McDaniel because
Correct.
even last year there was a certain player that was supposed to go to an event to sign autographs and whatnot, and he couldn't make it because they were called into an emergency meeting on a Sunday of all days, and they had to do drills and work out and all that kind of stuff. So I guess this is the same thing as he did last year. He's doing again. So it may work, maybe this is for good. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. Let's keep it moving though, because we're on our last hour, Color.
Well,
Before we have
real
to shut
quick,
it down.
Ollie, you make a great point because if all of what I said is a reality, we have ourselves a really good coach. That's all I'm saying. I really, really like that.
Yeah. In fact, I don't mind if he calls them in for emergency meeting and he's not happy about something. You know what I mean? Because I'd rather him fix it and nip it in the bud now than waiting down the road after week 7 and be like, all right,
Yep.
guys, I don't even want to get into it, Color, because the fact is that when we started, what was it, 1-7 or whatever we were in 2021, I was so upset we waited to turn the corner until then. You know what I mean? What the heck was the difference? We had the same team.
Right.
We didn't make any major trades to change the personnel.
Exactly.
What was different? That's what I don't get. I don't understand. And that's a whole nother conversation. Maybe that's a conversation we can have on Broken Takes so we can really speculate that.
Sure.
But not for Top of the Tailgate. That's a different.
Oh, no, I got you. I'm just pointing out, the human aspect of everything. But at the same time, when you watch all these historical shows about these great coaches, one of the consistent themes is, they don't even talk to their family during the season, and they're sitting there on a Sunday at 6 a.m. cracking the books. You know what I mean? So that's what that was what it was really meant to illustrate, not to be so conspiratorial thinking. You know what I mean? It was more to illustrate that about the head coach.
Definitely. I completely understand. All right, Color. So let's do this. I got one, maybe two more articles, and then we're gonna finish up by watching some of these videos. But the media availability, and they got some interesting tidbits that they give. We'll watch those and break those down, and then we'll close up shop. All right.
Right on.
All right. So this article is by Alan Pupar, and if you didn't know, Dolphin Camp transaction tracker that he's been keeping track of brought in a familiar face back in the secondary, Color, keeping up with the roster moves the Miami Dolphins made this summer. The Miami Dolphins are back to work to prepare for the start of the 2023 regular season, and that means a lot of on-the-field and classroom time for all the players involved and decision for the team as to which players ultimately will make up the 53-man roster. To keep up the roster moves, the team will also make between late July and the week of the regular season opener against the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium on September 10th. We offer the transaction tracker. It will include every roster move the Dolphins make, even though we will have separate stories on the more meaningful transactions of the summer. Dolphins made moves after the Atlanta game. Yes, we did. The Dolphins made a series of moves from practice Sunday, signing veteran wide receiver, and I apologize if I tear this guy's name apart, Kiki Kuti, and defensive back Jamal Perry, and waiving the injured cornerback Mark Gilbert and wide receiver Freddie Swain. Kuti,
you were close, Ollie, and you could be right, but the general pronunciation has been Kute. Kiki Kute.
Okay.
You were there, man.
All right, I'll go with Kute, whatever. Kute has played 33 games with 10 starts in the NFL career, which includes 85 catches, though only 2 of them came in the past 2 seasons, despite him playing 30 games. His best season was in 2020 when he caught 33 passes for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Perry returns for another stint in the Miami Dolphins defense. The Dolphins are bringing back familiar face in secondary with Jamal Perry's agent posting on social media that he's coming back. Perry can play several spots in the secondary, including slot corner, has plenty of special teams experience, which might come in handy based on the problem for 2022. And we saw in the preseason opener Friday night. Excuse me. Perry has 31 games and 7 starts of NFL experience, all with the Dolphins, who he first joined in 2019 under the name Jamal Wiltz. So he changed his name, huh? That's interesting. I didn't know that. He was among the cornerbacks in the Dolphins worked out before they signed Perry Nickerson last week. Perry was out of the NFL in 2022, though he did spend time on the Dolphins practice squad. Very interesting. Did you know Perry changed his last name? Color?
No, I did not. I'm sorry. I was actually just looking at his bio. I hadn't known that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that's pretty interesting, though. I will say the Dolphins defense is very loaded when it comes to corners and secondary help that we've brought in, right? We should end up with, as long as they evaluate properly and select the right people, we should definitely have tons of depth at that position, in my opinion. When it comes to, we still have Trill Williams that we haven't seen a lot of because you got some drilling going on at your house, Color?
Sorry about that. That was the police helicopter. Sorry, I didn't have myself muted. Sorry, Ollie.
Oh, it's okay. It sounded like a jackhammer or something. I'm like, man, they got some construction this late at night. Holy crap! How do you sleep?
Well, that's how I know it's the police helicopter, because they got like military style helicopters that sound really deep, choppy like that.
Gotcha. So anyway, what I was saying is, like, there's tons of depth at the secondary position. We got people that we haven't even got to really see. You know, Brandon Jones hasn't been fully, let loose. You got Trill Williams. You got Nick Needham, who I think is still on the pup list or something going on with Nick Needham. You got a lot of things going on that you don't have everybody full 100%. But when they are back, you're going to have so much, big rooms. You're going to have to figure out who to keep and who not. And that's not a bad problem. It's a good problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely.
Definitely. So
I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if you have the page up quick. This is where I'm getting distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should just ask for your help. I was trying to look at Kiki Kute's bio to see that year. You said he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I was trying to see what his long was. He had a long of 64 yards that year. But I want to know how many long, how many of his completions or how many of those touchdowns were long ones. Because I do remember him being utilized quite a bit as sort of a deep threat, like a kind of a role that we're looking to put Robbie Chosen in, and not just deep threat, but like the other stuff that we're trying to use Robbie Chosen for is kind of how Kute's been utilized when he was with Houston and in a couple other places he's been. So I'm wondering if that's, an indicator of what they feel about number 3.
It's very possible. He averaged about 12.1 yards per reception, so that's in that intermediate area.
It sounds like a lot of nothing and a couple deep shots is what that sounds like. You know what I mean? Because he's not known as a Waddle type that's getting 12 yards a catch like that. You know what I mean? And all that production. Yeah. So it sounds like a bunch of short stuff and then boom, couple big shots here and there throughout his career. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what happened after the 2020 season, because if you go back and look at his previous
He went to the Patriots,
stats,
bro. I think that's probably what happened.
no, he went to the Colts. They don't have a
Oh,
quarterback.
okay. I thought, okay.
So essentially, what happened is, from the looks of it, the first 3 seasons, his rookie season and the first 3 seasons, he wasn't bad, bro. He was a guaranteed
Right.
10 yards a reception kind of guy or more.
Hmm.
So he was definitely all over the intermediate area, and he did definitely have a big long one in all 3 years. He had one that was more than 40 yards his first
Right,
year,
right.
51
Exactly.
years. But it wasn't
And
until
real quick to your point, when we got Fuller, he ended up kind of filling the role that Houston was using Will Fuller for,
Mhm.
which is kind of a further irony that we're bringing him in after we got nothing out of Will Fuller. But, now he does give up a lot of height to a guy like Robbie Chosen. He's only 5'11" and 180 pounds. I thought he was taller than that. But he obviously can get down the field,
Yeah, it's very possible, definitely. I'm not looking too much into players such as Kiki Kute, because I think some of these guys are really just additional camp bodies to bring in, see if they have anything, or just to have enough people on the roster so they can keep things moving when it comes to the preseason game.
I generally agree
and-
with that take, Ali. I just think with a guy like Kute, he's one of those guys that's right on the cusp of that type of player. He could actually have a resurgence, and he's a decent player. He's not necessarily what you would think of as a scrub, but we could have very well still just brought him in as a camp body. You're right. You know what I mean?
But here's my point of why I say that he may be a camp body. He's 5'11", 180 pounds, which is kind of short for a receiver, to be honest, right? We have another short receiver like that named Braxton Berrios, who happens to be injured right now with something, from my understanding.
Exactly.
And Jalen Waddle has been injured as well. So you bring in this kind of guy to kind of mimic that style of receiver. But that doesn't mean he's going to make this roster.
No, it doesn't. But at the same time, like as I was saying, he's a type of player career-wise and at the point of his career where he could be on the cusp. If he does it for himself and shows something, he has every opportunity like anybody else to, oh, wait a minute, we didn't think that, but dang, maybe we ought to think about, you see what I'm saying? It's not like it will, I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying that he is the type of player that could very well have a resurgence and turn some heads. At least, even if not making our roster, if it's not in the cards for him to ever make our roster, as you suggest, which I agree with, that don't mean that he can't show out enough that we get some value out of him.
Definitely. All right.
You pair him with a guy like Cedric, and now you've got a decent trade package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. All right, Color. Let's keep it moving. So this next article I'm going to go over, and this will be the last one before we start showing the videos and stuff and breaking that down. Dolphins cornerback Cam Smith has been battling a shoulder injury as of Friday. The shoulder injury Cam Smith suffered in Miami's 19-3 loss, preseason loss to the Falcons, will keep him sidelined a couple of weeks. That's what they're saying. However, Cam Smith's push to become one of Miami's starting cornerbacks will be put on ice for the next few weeks. The Dolphins' 2023 second-round pick will be shelved for a few weeks because of the right shoulder injury he suffered in Miami's Expedition opener on Friday night. With Smith participated in the individual drills during Sunday's practice, he was noticeably favoring his right arm and actually threw the football with his left arm. Coach Mike McDaniel couldn't confirm when Smith, who was competing with Noah and Eli Apple to become the boundary corner opposite of Xavier Howard, will be cleared to participating in contact drills. We're fortunate that it's not long-term at all, McDaniel said during his Sunday press conference. With regard to his treatment in his body, the timeline is as little as gray, but it's not long-term at all. Next couple of weeks could be sooner than later. McDaniel wouldn't rule out Smith playing in the August 26th preseason finale against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but there's also a possibility he could begin the season on the injured reserve, depending on how the shoulder handles the treatment. To address his absence, the Dolphins signed Jamal Perry, a veteran cornerback who has a history of being a strong special team contributor. Perry became the fifth defensive back added since training camp began late July. Apple and 7-year veteran Perry Nickerson, Miles Dorn, and Mark Gilbert were all signed to address the injuries that have happened to Jalen Ramsey, Keon Crossan, and Gilbert, who was waived injured on Sunday. Crossan has missed the past 3 weeks with an undisclosed injury, and there's no timetable for his return. It's possible that he could begin the season on the injured reserve alongside Ramsey's, who underwent a meniscus procedure that will likely sideline him until December. At this time, it appears Noah is in the driver's seat when it comes to locking down the boundaries job opposite of Howard, because of Cater Kahu is working as Miami's starting nickel cornerback, and the Dolphins are struggling to find a backup at that spot. That is very interesting, Color, and I will tell you why. One, I don't really think that Cam Smith is going to be out and put on the injured reserve. Based on all the reports I've read and seen and what I know of his injury, I would say he's probably going to be out for about 2 weeks. That's just my opinion. I don't really think they need him to play in the preseason game at all. He's shown enough that he's very capable and whatnot. I think for him, it's just a study of the game, understanding his role, and combing his craft. That's my opinion when it comes to Cam Smith. But what I found interesting here is everybody told me that, don't worry, we don't need Jalen. We have Cater Kahu here, and Cater Kahu can play the boundary. But they don't have Cater Kahu on the boundary here, Color. They have him as the starting nickel cornerback. That is what is interesting to me. What do you think?
Well, that's precisely where you should put your best open field tackler on the team, to be honest with you.
I agree.
If you don't have the need, in other words, if you've got the other players and you don't have the need for him to be that boundary guy, then put him where he does with his best attribute is going to benefit you the most, Yeah,
100%. I agree with you. And I think he is the best
contributor. That's the benefit of having a wealth of riches at the DB.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree where we have him at. I've said all along that's where he was going to be. And, it's just interesting. I'm excited to see what Noah can do. But at the same time, I don't think Cam Smith will be out very long. I don't think he's going to be on the injured reserve.
I agree with you. He's going to be out as long because he is a rookie. So if they didn't have him penciled in anywhere as a starter. So it's not like, it's a case where he's guaranteed his spot back after injury. Mm-hmm. If Noah closes him out, good for us, good for Noah. And you know what? Not that bad for Cam because you're only getting held out because another guy's balling out. And you're still a rookie. So it's not like your timetable is held back or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Here's what it is for me. Like, I really believe that Mike McDaniel is kind of cautious when it comes to the injuries, like overly cautious. Look at it this way. Teron Armstead had a scoped out knee, cleaned up some stuff that was in his knee that they said he needed. They've already confirmed his toe injury is healed and everything, right? He's been feeling like 100% for several weeks leading into camp and finally getting into camp and being on the PUP list. They call him back off of the PUP list, but then they put pads on him, but they just have him on the sidelines doing individual drills, no team drills.
Right.
And it's like baby steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the approach that Mike McDaniel does it with these things. It doesn't matter how severe or insevere it is. He's going to take baby steps until he lets you back in. You know what I mean? And
and unfortunately, with a guy like Armstead, and I make this statement with the caveat that as long as he's sticking in the gym and keeping his body up, you know what I mean? there's not really much that he is going to benefit from training camp and practice and all that. Now, we might benefit because we can see what things look like, with our top guys in there during practice. But in the same time, we need to get all these other guys up to speed anyway. So it's not like in practice we're really missing Armstead, other than to make things look good. You know what I mean? Or say, what is it going to be with this guy in here? But for the most part, as long as he's staying in the gym and keeping his body up and not sitting on the couch getting slobbish, I don't really think it's that big of a deal that he's not practicing, heavily throughout training camp, because the guy is, an all-pro offensive lineman. So it's not like he's going to really benefit much, other than, of course, you don't want to get rusty at your skills. But I don't think that a guy like him, he's highly intelligent. I've actually not met him in person per se, but interacted with him in person, trying to get an autograph, last off season. And the guy struck me as a really well-reserved, intelligent person, So, matter of fact, when I held up my camera, the sun was in on the screen and I couldn't really see it. And he pointed out to me that we needed to retake it because it didn't get me in the shot. He saw the you know what I mean? Just that kind of keen eye, and patience. I'm with a fan. And I could have just let him move on and let him get home and realize, dang, I got a bad photo. You know what I mean? But he took the time with me and said, hey, man, I think, you didn't get in there. Let's do it again. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Color, we're about half an hour.
Sorry, I don't mean to ramble. I was just trying to speak to to back up my thought of based on his character. But yeah, I don't think we're missing much by him being held out of actual
not
work.
At all. And just real quick update regarding Braxton Berrios. He took a very bad hit in the preseason game where he had to get stitches on somewhere on his head, actually. And the reason he's out is because he can't put on his helmet until his stitches are healed. So he'll be out for 2 weeks. I kind of have him as a lock now on this roster, so I wasn't worried about him being out either now.
Well, the fact that they brought in a camp body to take his place for the time being should tell you that they see him as an important part of this offense. And
this guy's
cog in the wheel.
Yeah, this guy's flashed so much, to be honest, that
there's no way he's not making the team.
I'm sold with him.
And matter of fact, Ali, I think I remember when that happened, because he had gotten up slowly after a punt return or something. I don't remember exactly what play.
He got hit hard too. I saw it too. Yeah, right. All right, let's go over. Let's change gears real quick. We're gonna go to these videos. I want it's some press conference stuff. We're gonna comment on what they had to say and whatnot. There's 4 of them that we're gonna watch. There was more than 4, but that's all I have time for today. So let's go over this one first, and let me make this big here. There we go. Share screen. And just make sure, Color, that you can hear it. Let me know if there's any issue, okay?
10-4.
There we go. All right, let me go ahead and play this.
You're all set. I hear it good.
How'd you feel you played?
I feel like I did, okay. Just like the whole line stuff we all did, good.
Just so you know, Travis Wainfield asked him, how do you guys feel you did overall? What do you think about how you guys did? That's basically what he asked.
Just setting the tone, dominating the line of scrimmage, but, some things just got to clean up. The things I had to keep working at to make me a better player.
Is there much difference in playing left guard and right guard? If we talk about the difference between left tackle and right tackle, but inside, is there much difference?
No, you just got to get comfortable, just opening the hips on that side. That's all. But it's really just the same thing. You just got to be aggressive and just finding it on your techniques.
Rob, Connor came in and spoke earlier about dominating the trenches as an offensive line goal this year. As far as that, how do you all think your progression towards reaching that goal and being ready week 1?
That was the number one thing coming into OTAs was dominate the line of scrimmage, fire off the rock. We work with technique and everything later, but we just want to, shot dominance in the trenches. And, we've been doing that every single day. And, going to week 1, I feel like we just keep getting better, from the joint practices and the first preseason game, we just keep focused on it. I feel like we did pretty good. We just got to keep doing that. So when week 1 comes, we'll be all right.
How do you think the
All right. So he's talking about how he feels pretty good and talked a little bit about the transitioning to right guard and stuff. I do think Robert Jones makes this roster because he is kind of versatile. They've used him in the left guard position, they've used him in the right guard position. He can play right tackle, he can play left tackle. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife of things. He's not the master of it all, but he's definitely what do they call that? Like jack of all trades, but master of none.
Right. And a solid
Yeah.
player. You know, Ali, the one thing that strikes me about Robert Jones since he's been on this team is that we've never heard, like, I mean, you talk average about him and you even say, hey, you know, some positivity too. But have you ever really heard anybody argue that Robert Jones is garbage?
No, like I've heard some people make trash takes about all of the offensive linemen, but to be honest,
but I mean, individually, have you ever heard anybody going, you know, echo the sentiments of a Liam Eichenberg or a Jesse Davis? You know what I mean?
No, it might be like one or two comments here or there, but it's not like an Eichenberg where you're like, hey, man, I'll buy you the ticket for Greyhound myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Which means
like
he puts his head down, gets his freaking work done, and doesn't. We don't have anything negative to say about the guy. He's a solid player.
Yeah.
Absolutely should be a Miami Dolphin.
I agree. Let's see what else he had to say, Color.
I guess the climate or the temperature will change from down here to going to Houston, you know, with the second practice session.
I heard Houston hot. I really never been in the heat during the summertime. Anything I heard it's hot, but you know, it's hot down here. That's everything. You know, we got to go through. That's adversity. We go through it down here every day, so going out there won't be much difference.
Color, I haven't lived in Texas in a long time. I used to live in Wichita Falls, Texas, which is near what is it, Shepherd Air Force Base, right where I was at for a hot minute. And it got hot. It's like a dry heat, though. It's not like humidity and muggy that we have here, right? It's like more of a dry heat, if memory serves me right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not quite as dry as Arizona, but parts of Texas can certainly be that dry. And that doesn't mean that they don't experience humidity, but if you ask somebody from a dry climate, they'll tell you the dry heat's worse than the humid heat. You know, but the opposite's true. I can tell you from having lived in South Florida my whole life, and then having spent a lot of time on vacation in places like Arizona, stand in the shade, okay, and you're perfectly fine. Okay, so whereas in Florida, no, you'll be inside and with your AC cranking and you're still sweating bullets. You know, so that doesn't take anything away from how hot it gets in Texas. And Houston is a coastal city on the Gulf and sort of far enough south, I think, to be considered in the subtropics. So, and obviously they get hurricanes. I mean, that's not quite as dry a place in Texas as you think of Texas. So it is going to be Miami-like in summer there. I bet that.
I do have to like piggyback off of the person that suggests. I'm sorry, my camera's kind of weird. Suggested that the dry heat is worse than the humid heat that we have down here. I went to literally one of the hottest places on earth, in my opinion, when I was stationed in Kuwait, and that's the driest heat I've ever been in. And it was so freaking hot, bro, that they closed the pool down during the day. You couldn't take showers or go to the pool till nighttime.
It is. It's like a burning hot, dude.
It is unbelievable because the water and everything would heat up so bad that they had to wait till nighttime for it to cool off just to be bearable. You know what I mean? Like, and dude, it was rough.
Likewise in Arizona, I know that where you're talking, the part of the world you're talking about is the worst. Like, really, is the worst. Except maybe the Namibia desert in Africa. But there's places out in Arizona, obviously the Mojave, which spans across California too, that are also, up there as far as in the world. But that being said, Arizona is a dry enough place and hot enough place where it's sort of like there's a lot of considerations to take that you're talking about. Like, for instance, you have to force yourself to drink water because despite not sweating because it's so dry, you are losing water. You are sweating. It's just actually drying out, evaporating before it even leaves your pores. So you have to like force yourself to drink water even if you don't think you're thirsty. You know, things like that. But again, when you're talking about how it burns your skin, yes, it's much worse. But again, stand in the shade and you're generally all right if you've got a glass of water and you're standing in the shade.
Gotcha. All right, Color, let's keep moving here.
Your first time in the same system in the NFL back-to-back, how do you feel like the second year within the system can kind of help your game grow a little bit?
Just help me be confident, you know, just really knowing what I'm doing, you know, going out there and not have to guess like what we're doing on certain plays and everything, really just not having to hear the center speak and just having confidence in myself and what I can do.
So you talk about having the center speak to you. Connor Williams is pretty effective in that way, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, you know, centers, they got to talk in general, you know, everything we do comes off the center. And, you know, when us going into our second year in this offense, all of us who were here last year, we know exactly what we're doing. So it's just that, you know, confidence that all of us on the same page. And, you know, Connor's going to speak regardless because he sees it from a different, you know, eye. But we all on the same page.
Do you all have, like, aspirations of like being the offensive line that produces the next 1,000-yard rusher here for the Miami Dolphins? It's been a while.
Man, you know, only thing we focus on, you know, dominating the line of scrimmage, you know, come off the ball and doing our techniques and, you know, just playing hard and everything else come after that. But as long as we just focus on, you know, what we got to do as an O-line to be that great O-line that, you know, people are afraid of, we'll be good.
And from your performance this past preseason game.
Let me pause that. So I like what he had to say there. To be honest, he basically broke it down that as long as we do, you know, dominate the line of scrimmage, you know, work on our technique and just perform and be that good, you know, I almost wanted to say average O-line that we talked about in the last episode, Color. I honestly think that's kind of what they need them to be, and that's what they're focusing on. I don't think they should focus about what the guy behind them is doing in the sense of, oh, he needs to get his 1,000 yards. No, because that's another thing that you're putting on your plate, and you don't have any control if he gets that or not.
Exactly.
Just focus on what you can control. Setting up
all
your
you
block,
can do is open the door.
Dominating the offensive line, getting in position, making sure your hands are correct. And that's what you need to focus on. And I really like the fact that's what he said. That was a really good answer.
Right. And again, opening the door is a great analogy because as an offensive lineman in the run game, especially, your goal is to open up a hole for that running back to run through. So you're literally opening the door. That's all you have to do. You can't force the running back to run through it. So, for instance, the analogy, continuing the analogy and expanding it, in my life, I was raised in a paradigm where it was polite for a man to hold the door open for anybody, but especially women. Okay. And so, you know, I consistently hold the door open for people. Okay. Whether I'm going through it, whether I'm, you know, first in or first, you know, or however it comes, I consistently do that. Now, I've held the door open because of that, being as old as I am. I've held the door open for people a zillion times. And so whenever you do something that many times, you're going to have eventually some peppered in negative results, like somebody not walking through it, somebody not thanking you or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Yeah, and so, but for the most part, the person walks through and says, thank you. But I can't control. All I can do is consistently hold the door open. And that's me as an offensive lineman. You know what I mean? That's a great point the guy made, you know, so.
Yeah, definitely. I really like what he had to say. So let's keep it moving. The next person we're going to be listening to is Channing Tindall, who finally kind of made his presence known in this preseason game. It was one of the highlights of it. So let's see what he had to say.
From your performance in this past preseason game, what were some attributes that you felt you enhanced on from last year to this year?
And what I don't know who's asking, but they're basically asking based on your performance in this last preseason game and training camp, what are some of the skills that you worked on from previous year to this year? That's what they're asking him. Did you hear that, Color? Everything was good with the audio?
Yes, still consistent audio. Yep.
All right, let's keep going.
Well, just from last year, we have a new defensive coordinator, so it's kind of like it's completely different this year. But one thing I did take from the game is just like I'm getting a better. I feel like I'm getting a full understanding of what exactly I'm supposed to do, like on the field from a playbook standpoint, and then just a little anticipation is there as well. I just need to work more. There's a little bit of anticipation, but I know it can be faster. So those two things I took from the game.
All right, I'm going to pause you right there, Mr. Tyndall. Mr. Tyndall, I want to appreciate you recognizing two areas that I claimed that you had to focus on that the guy behind you, who happens to be named Aubrey Miller, does better than you. Anticipating where the ball is going to get to the tackle and finishing it, as well as knowing his role. Those are two things I said that you had to work on, and I'm glad you recognize that. I swear, Channing Tyndall watches our show, Color, because he took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep. Don't forget about the man with the crooked nose. Also behind him, Cameron Good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I want to say it's more Aubrey Miller that plays a similar position to what he does.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just meant as far as, having the fundamentals at their given role.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The biggest issue with him is understanding his role in the defense and then using that role in understanding how to anticipate where the offense is running, where the ball is, anticipate the play before it happens. I think you can't do one without the other. You can't anticipate if you don't understand your own role.
Right. Because what are you anticipating exactly?
Yeah. What is your main goal when you're anticipating?
Right. What are you
role?
expecting if you don't know what to expect? Right.
Yeah, that's basically what it comes down to. It goes hand in hand. And I know that's like a Captain Obvious type of comment, but
it's a truism, exactly.
It's a truism. And in his case, he said it basically sounds like everything is different because it's Vic Fangio from one year to the next. But he understands that his anticipation needs to get better, and he's starting to understand his role better. And that, to me, okay, you see where you needed to get better. Now you're taking those steps to get better. This is the beginning of what I expected. So let's keep it moving.
Jenny, how do you measure yourself? Is it daily? Is it weekly? I mean, will it drive you crazy to measure yourself daily? How do you handle that?
No, it doesn't drive me crazy to look at myself daily. I do that anyway. I just take one mistake. What my coach tells me to do, he said, just take one mistake and correct it. As long as you're getting better each and every day, you're getting 1% better. So that's what I take.
How do you think this defense fits your skill set right now?
This defense allows our linebackers, specifically inside linebackers, to go side to side. Like, we can move everywhere around the field, and you working off of everybody. So, like, I feel like that gets to show my athleticism.
With you all in this defensive linebacker group, how do you all feel like you all are gelling at this point so far?
I feel like we have a good group. I feel like we're very tight. Like, anybody ever needs a question, or if they see somebody struggling with somebody, I know like Duke or like David, anybody in the room, like they're quick to help. Like, regardless of what the situation might be on or off the field, I feel like we're a family almost. Really.
You know, when he said side to side, I thought of one linebacker and only one linebacker. You know who that was?
Guess?
Go for it.
Van Ginkel?
Nope. Hall of Fame linebacker.
Oh, you're talking about, okay, I got you. I'm sorry.
Side to side. The best middle linebacker, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Miami Dolphins that had the best side to side movement.
Yep. And now that he's in the Hall of Fame, we can brag like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I think of. And it makes me think that if this defense allows linebackers to be more mobile in the sense of moving from side to side more, and basically move all over the place. Maybe the stereotypical linebacker that we need, we were right. Remember when I made comments that stereotypical players that we need on defense may not be the stereotypical players that Vic Fangio knows that he needs?
Right. Which is why you can effectively call our outside linebackers pass rushers, because now they have the support from the other linebacker group. If they are moving side to side like that, it allows them to support the outside edge, allowing the outside linebackers to focus on getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just saying that these little things are like laying out hints here, Color, that, you know, I it allows me to use my athleticism. I think that's what what they look for. They look for someone that's smart, is athletic, and has the mobility. You know what I mean?
Yep. And there's no reason that this kind of stuff shouldn't raise our excitement level on defense as fans. This is really good stuff, guys.
Definitely. And it also goes hand in hand. If you look at this guy has, is kind of athletic. But even Aubrey Miller, he's not a big guy, but he does have very big arms. Okay. And he's very athletic. He's one of those freak athletes. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of meant by that. Like Zach Thomas.
Right. And you remember my first take when we went to camp the first day we went on that Sunday? You remember my first take on Aubrey Miller? I was kind of a little, like, as far as the way he was hitting the bag and stuff, that I was like a little bit underwhelmed with his pop, speed, strength, all that kind of stuff. He was great, but it was like, not quite what I thought to the level of, okay, in other words, it looked like an undrafted free agent. You know what I mean? So now, and I remember saying all that night. Now, by the time I went to my second visit to camp, this dude is ripping everything. This dude's freaking practically picking the sled up and carrying it out to the beach. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if he was just down that day physically. That happens to us all. Wake up, we just don't feel like 100%. I don't know.
Maybe he was nervous practicing in front of the public.
Right. Exactly. That was the first open practice. Yeah, sure. So, but since then, he has started to fulfill all the hype or I shouldn't say hype, but the things people have said to me about this guy being better than your average undrafted free agent. Hey, blah blah blah. He is popping. So that could either be that it was just natural, or like as always, Ollie, he's a fan of the tailgate, bro. Welcome, Mr. Miller. We appreciate you being here if you're listening, and thank you for taking what we say to heart, man.
Yep, definitely. All right, let's listen to what else he had to say.
Channing, what did the coaches tell you guys, or Vic Fangio specifically, about how you guys did on Friday, as an individual and the defense as an entire unit?
He did give individual per se, but as a defense, he said we playing physical, but we need to anticipate more. So like just really locking in on the little details of what the playbook is and where exactly we need to line up at times.
Do you think that will kind of come with time as you guys go along? You're obviously pretty early on in training camp still.
Oh yeah, I definitely think that will come with experience. Just feeling it's not necessarily that we're doing the wrong job. It's just something you can do better, and those things just come with time.
And as far as special teams, but Crossman, I know you guys have allowed the return, but A-Chain had a nice kickoff return. I don't know if you ran on that. Jason Sanders had a 49-yard field goal. Did Crossman have anything to say about how you guys did at the special teams?
He just looks at it. He doesn't take that into consideration. He just looks at, are we doing our job, and are we doing it to the best of our ability? And on some of those plays, we weren't doing our job. So he's going to be a coach, and he's going to get on us, and that's up for us to come back the next day and handle that.
All right, Connor. So
Very interesting. Any comments about what he had to say about Vic Fangio saying that, okay, you guys were very physical, but you're not anticipating enough?
Right. Well, that's the trade-off to being physical.
Yeah.
In the human body is you trade off, because there's everything we do in the human body, physically or mentally, expends energy. Okay, it takes energy. Despite people not realizing that it takes a lot of energy to think. And so your body, like any other organism, has to manage that energy and allot it to where it thinks is the best for the survival of the organism, right? So it has to this is why your extremities get frozen and start to die off first when you get frostbitten, or when you're cold and all that, right? So there's a trade-off. So the more physical you force yourself to be, if let's say I was trying to impress somebody with how physical I am. Well, if it's all about physicality and that's it, and that's how I'm measured, then I don't have to expend any of my body's energy into my mind, other than for the basic stuff, vision, hearing, stuff like that. And so it allows you to, it's like when you think about when you yourself, if you've ever had to get physical for whatever reason, either playing a sport, a fight, whatever it might be, an emergency situation, you could call it tunnel vision almost, you know what I mean? But not really tunnel vision. It's like singularly focused. And it allows your body to spend more energy on the physical parts so that you can do what needs to be done for whatever situation you're in. Sometimes it'll even give you a boost with adrenaline and make you do things that people didn't think humans can do. That aside, it's like blind aggression. You know what I mean? And that's why you get blind when you increase your aggression level, because you're taking less energy, you're taking more energy away from your mind and your better thinking and all that, and applying it to your physicality. So there's obviously a trade-off, a balance you can strike, where you can give your maximum physicality, yet still have energy enough to focus and use your mind to anticipate. And I think that's what Fangio is trying to illustrate. If I were to just be deeper than Fangio as a, guy looking outside in.
I agree with you completely, Color, with your sentiment. All right, Color, we got this video and one more we have to watch before we have to shut it down. But I want to just get through them real quick. So let's listen to what
The good
Connor
news is, because of the pre-recording, we don't necessarily have to be so tight.
All right, Color. All right, let's keep going.
All right, Connor. So, can you evaluate how the offensive line did? I mean, I obviously don't reveal any secrets, but how do you think they did Friday?
Obviously, some of us weren't out there, so it's well, first off, it's tough not being on the field. I mean, for a football game, it's hard not to be out there. So, first and foremost, but I think I think we showed some good things. Obviously, things to clean up on our second season of this offensive scheme. So, I think we're getting the hang of it. I think there's some good things building, and bottom line, I think we executed well. Obviously, things in the second half that don't need to show up, that it comes with the territory, and you got to start building on it and stacking it and learning from it. So it'll be good opportunities to learn from.
How do you think your camp has gone? We know you weren't here for mini camp and OTAs. How has your training camp gone so far personally?
I think it's gone well. Picking up where I left off from last year, being able to climb and keep climbing just day by day, getting better at my craft day by day, and perfecting the center.
With the run game, there's always been a second-year surge with Mike McDaniel from the offensive line. Is it just understanding more of what's being asked of you in the technique?
Yeah, I think it's just establishing identity. I mean, obviously every team's got a different run game, a different style of running. And coming here my first year, I mean, it's a completely different world of just run game. And so just being able to get in it and understanding where the ball's going to cut, understanding what you want from a schematic standpoint, and just from your stance and from your weight and from how you want to run off the ball and everything. And so I think we're improving, and I'm excited about this year.
Connor, coming from Dallas and your ability to dominate the trenches with the offensive line there, what are some tangible things that you think you brought from Dallas to Miami?
I think mentality. I mean, at the end of the day, it's football, and it's about being the man in front of you. And so all X's and O's out of the way. I mean, it's about dominating a man in front of you, and it's about taking them all 4 quarters, and it's about beating his will down play by play. And so, I mean, that's what I love about football, So that's the fun part about it.
Connor, how long is it going to take you guys, the starting 5, whenever that's
Great point, by the way.
to gel? I guess because Teron isn't
There's
gonna
a
be out
question
there
coming up,
practice. I
color.
don't know
That's
how
going to
much
be
you're
a
doing
bomb.
joint practices or Saturday's game, right? Saturday's game.
That was a championship level point, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, second year together. I mean, we know each other. We're all around each other all the time, and so there's a type of camaraderie that can't be broken. And so, I think we all know each other. We feel each other, and as the weeks go on, as the days go on, you get better from that, and you build from that.
And Austin Jackson hasn't been out there for a long time with you guys. Only having played 2 games last year, but how is he coming along as far as fitting in with everybody else and playing seamlessly?
He's progressing day by day, and he's getting better day by day, and that's all you can ask from any player.
And then Liam, you play right beside him. How is he doing this game?
He's battling his ass off. He's fighting, and I think he's executing well.
How are you going to ask a man that question?
Right there, color.
How is
right
he going to
there.
ask the man that
Hold
question?
Hold on, color. Hold on. First of all, right there, he asked the question, and he didn't. What the answer that was given is, and this is the comparison. He asked about Austin Jackson. Yeah, he's progressing every day, getting better and better, and that's all you can ask, right? But when he got asked about Eichenberg, he said he's battling his ass off. That doesn't say he's getting better.
Right. That's basically saying, I love this man. So I'm not going to really answer your question because I have a really good friend with this guy, and I'm not going to freaking poop on him. You know what I mean?
Exactly. In addition to it, he said he executes good or well or something to that effect. You can execute well
and still not be enough, exactly,
and still not be good enough. That's basically
you're
what
right.
I'm
Your 100% execution could just not be sufficient enough. Exactly.
Yeah. So
that's why I think it's such an unprofessional question. If you ask me, if you want to ask if you want to ask about Liam Eichenberg, okay, then clamor for him to get up on the press conference instead of like, oh no, he sucks, so he don't get to talk to the press, but we're going to go ask one of his colleagues and his buddy, to evaluate him for us because we don't think he deserves for us to ask him that question directly. It's so insulting to me, man. I just can't stand it sometimes. It's their job, I guess, but there's a better way to do your job. Do better, press.
First of all, I don't really know how or why or how people are picked to be giving press interviews, so I don't know how that works.
Well, it's interest. It's a meritocracy. I mean, if you're an important person and you're expected, like I expect these guys that we've seen on the stage this morning to all be on the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was Perkins, I believe, that asked that question, by the way. So, all right, let's keep it moving.
Left guard, how does that impact you in terms of communication or identification and things like that?
I mean, we're a pretty solid group, so everybody, I mean, we're one beating heart. So whoever's in, and it's kind of nice because as you know, 17 weeks. I mean, you're never gonna have the same starting lineup, and so just being able to work together and everybody working in unison is nice.
Connor, have you all identified like any goals or things that you as an offensive line unit want to accomplish on this season?
I think we just want to dominate from getting off the bus to the last whistle.
So we saw you on the. You got 2 of the.
All right.
I'm sorry, Ollie. Can I add one more comment on the last question? Obviously, it was a bombshell, so it's got me thinking. You know what I mean? But what I really meant to clarify was that if you're not willing to ask Liam Eichenberg that question, which obviously they wouldn't be, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, why are you asking that man? Why are you taking up his time to ask it?
Because the center position is technically the leader of the offensive line. I guess.
I mean, I get that. I get that. All I'm saying is when I said, that because of the lack of interest, Liam Eichenberg don't have his own presser, okay, and all that, or lack of standing, or whatever it is in their mind, okay. If you're there's a reason you're not willing to call Liam Eichenberg in for a presser. There's a reason you're not willing to go in the locker room and ask him that question directly.
Yeah, I definitely understand. I agree with you.
So it's like they're gonna feel comfortable enough to ask Williams that, but not Eichenberg directly. That's just cowardice to me, as far as journalism goes, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. All he asked him really was like, "How's he doing?" That's all he asked him.
Oh, I know, but credit to him though for at least asking somebody, because Liam Eichenberg took up an entire week on social media being talked about, and we get nothing from the organization on, his standing.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but he did say something at the end of it though, Color. I don't know if you caught it, about how they're like considered like one beating heart or one player mind or whatever. I correlate that to that everybody is learning every position almost.
Right.
So when they fill in, it's they already have that cohesiveness because the person understands their role and has already played at some point with the person next to them. Maybe that's why they're working Eichenberg the hell out of him
and that's why they want him to work so bad, not out of their own bravado, but out of the fact of continuity. I mean,
well, I think that's kind of what it is. They want people to already have experience between those people in case
I don't
they have
think
to put
people
them in there.
realize how important continuity is in a squad, in any room in the building. You know what I mean? And we talked about it when it came to center last year. And it's good that because of the extra work we saw Connor and Tua do in the during camp last year and all that, Connor still has every once in a while whiffs a snap, but for the most part, him and Tua have really good continuity, and so that goes up and down for everybody else too. And so I had imagined that the players, despite their inner feelings about how they feel about Liam Eichenberg and his skill set, his whatever quality as a player, they want him to be there. They don't want to deal with the pain of the rear of bringing in a new guy, everybody shaking hands and acting like they're one unit, like he's referring to. You know what I mean? It's continuity. It's king.
Definitely. All right, Color, we got one last video, and then we got to shut it down. My wife's already getting angry with me, so let's keep it going here.
At least it ain't work.
Oh. Yeah, it's pretty much his work, which I'll talk to you about later. Let's go ahead and press play.
So we saw you on the you got two handoffs in the preseason opener. How did that feel? And did you think it looked like you almost had the edge on the second one? What happened there?
Man, it was a great feeling, just to get the ball in my hands. Play was called for me to get the ball, so knowing I was getting it, I was imagining myself with it, and I did everything I could try to make some plays for the team.
I know it may not have been, obviously there's a lot of competition for the number 3 spot behind Jalen and Tyreek. I know you may not have caught a bunch of passes, but do you still kind of get some satisfaction of making plays with the ball in your hand and showing the coaching staff you can make plays?
Definitely. However, the offense needs me to make plays for the team wherever they need me to block, run, catch. I'm able to do it all.
Start first week training camp, and then you got injured. How much do you feel that sets you back in terms of the progress that you were making?
I'm making a lot of progress. I felt like I was catching a rhythm, making plays in practice, and the injury set me back a little bit. But with the rehab and working with the training staff, I was able to get back out there and show what I could do.
Like you had a lot of work in the running game on the game on Friday night. How did you feel you did in that? And also, does it feel good to actually get a chance to execute and finish blocks in a live setting like that?
It was awesome. Just like I was saying, getting the ball in my hands, always love just toting the pill and following my blocks, helping my guys out, and in the run game, blocking for the guys, the running backs, quarterback, no matter what.
Did you play running back in high school?
I did a little bit, maybe like my sophomore year, but I played running back all the way up to high school, little league playing running back. Then I overgrew it and then had to switch to receiver.
How do you feel about running back per se? I mean, I know you're a receiver, but how do you feel about maybe, getting a little bit more of that kind of role?
Wherever Mike or Wes wants me to be in the offense, I'll do whatever.
Eric, do you have a?
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there for a moment. Is it me, or it sounds like somebody killed this man's cat? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I
bro.
forgot who we were looking at. I thought this was Cedric, and then I'm like, oh.
No, this is Easy E, right? And Easy E, I'm not gonna lie, in the first week of camp that we were there, he was making some moves, catching balls, being kind of presence felt, right? And in the preseason game, I thought he really made his presence felt. And they used him in a running back kind of role, and it was very interesting, and I liked it. But this guy doesn't seem happy. I'll just do whatever they tell me to do. I'm just here to collect
running
the
back
paycheck.
don't make you a diva, bro. You know what I mean?
I'll just do. They'll use me anyway, and I can do it. I'm just here to collect a paycheck, so I don't get fined. I'll answer your questions. That's what I feel like I'm watching.
The man's got a set of pecs, dude. Jesus.
Why do you always look at their pecs, bro? I'm starting to worry
bro,
about
that's strength, man. That's where a lot of strength is, bro. You know what I mean? Like
in the
upper body
chest?
strength. Like that's what allows these guys to take hits like they do, and we're like, how does he just bounce up after that? You know what I mean? Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried about this, and I'll tell you why I'm worried about this color. I'm worried about this because when this man was drafted, this guy was the guy that we all said he was Smiles. That's what we wanted to call him because that's all he did. He was constantly smiling. I haven't seen him smile maybe once in this interview. Maybe once.
Yeah.
Right? This guy sounds this guy is, I don't know, depressed or something. And I want to say, unfortunately, but I have to connect the dots here. Maybe he's not happy sitting out all last season and not making the field. You know what I mean? Maybe something happened and he was not happy about that. And this is what's boiling over. But he doesn't sound happy to being interviewed, and he doesn't seem enthusiastic, and that concerns me because this is a guy that I really wanted to see on the field, and I thought he could really do something this year. Right? And he has been impressive in preseason, and he has been impressive in practices that I've watched. You know what I mean? So... And he, even in the, I understand he got injured a little bit, but you still got to play, bro. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm kind of like wondering, what's this guy's, what's going on? Is Mike McDaniel too hard on you? Did he yell at you about something? Did Wes Welker say you're trash? What the heck's going on?
He's tired of people throwing shade on our backups when that's all he gets the ball thrown to from.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But
he's starting to, by proxy, he could be feeling that shade. Like, if all they ever have me catching the ball from is these backups and everybody's throwing so much shade on the backups, well, what's that make me?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. But the other flip side of it also is that maybe, just like any rookie wide receiver that is a third or fourth round selection, you're going to have him play special teams. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't like that. Maybe he doesn't like doing other stuff, and he just wants to stick to what he likes.
Right, because despite what the fans and everybody wants, he may not want to be Debo. Anybody ever ask him?
Well, I'm not saying that he's Debo. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying that, that's the kind of moniker people put on the guy as far as how we plan to utilize him. The guy's even suggesting it in his line of questioning about running back.
Oh, yeah. I see what
you
mean.
know what I mean? Like, what are you asking me about all that for? You said I ever wanted to be Debo,
And Debo doesn't even want to be Debo, to be honest. I mean,
that's what I said. There's no running. There ain't no running back ain't gonna make you no diva. Let's face it.
Yeah, yeah. I understand what you mean by it now. Definitely. Let's see what else he had to say, Colin.
A specific goal for the season? Are you shooting to be the number 3 receiver or just get playing time? How do you view that?
You know, wherever my coaches need me to be, my teammates, just trying to show them every day that I'm improving, I'm being consistent, and just mastering the playbook in my role.
Eric, you guys are heading to Texas in this next joint practice session. What are you looking forward to heading back to the state of Texas?
You know, I'm from Texas. We got a lot of Texas boys on the team, so it'll feel good to be back. And, you know, just the weather, being able to Houston's a little humid compared to Fort Worth, Dallas, but, you know, just being in the area, it's going to feel good.
How's the weather there compared to here in South Florida?
I'm sure South Florida is way hotter, but I'm sure Houston's going to be a little humid, so it's going to be a little climate change, but we'll handle it.
So, Eric, some of us have been kind of doing some investigative work. We're aware of these teams between Tyreek and Jalen with the wide receivers. I know River is on Tyreek's team. Are you on Jalen's team? He wouldn't tell Jalen wouldn't say who's on his team, but
really?
Tell him. River said. So
I'm on Tyreek's team. He they drafted.
So now we know you was at least the second pick, or you get the third pick.
I'm not gonna say all that.
So is how it goes. Like, you guys go to your wide receiver meeting. Wes is breaking it down, and who awards the points?
So we got Max awarding the points with catches, either impact blocks, explosive plays, and we tally it up, and whoever wins pays for dinner when we go to dinner.
So that's the nicest place that the wide receivers have been treated to.
Like, you're right, Ollie. He can't even engage with him in personal, stuff.
Go ahead, Colin. What were you saying?
Like, he can't even seem to engage with him on a personal level. Like, you're right. He's like completely depressed. Like, yeah. Now I can't see because it's a little small for me to tell. But when when the room erupted in some laughter, was he smiling? Did they get a smile out of him?
They did. They did get a smile out of him.
Okay. I just wanted to pump the brakes there, and make sure we're getting the guy to smile.
They wanted to know where he got drafted, and he wasn't trying to cause beef or anything, so he kind of smiled about it.
Right. So he's not completely in the dumps. All right.
No. But I think he's in. But he is kind of in the dumps because he said it like 3 or 4 times as the answer. I'm just going to do whatever my teammates need me to do, and show them I can do my role and whatnot. You know what I mean?
When he's talking about the point system, he's just like, yeah, and the guy that this and that buys dinner. It's like as if it's always him or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I definitely hear what you're saying. I'm just thinking that. Is that my cat? Oh my God, my cat is climbing to the top of my chair. But anyway,
the old cat in the live stream meme, dude. That's gonna go viral now, man. Everybody like and share.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at the cat. Meow. Meow. You see the cat? Oh my God, Snickers, you are crazy cat.
Oh, that's hilarious. He almost looks like some kind of like one of them old desktop emojis that would follow you around. Remember back in the day?
Look at my cat. She's actually looking outside the window right now. Downtown skyline in Miami.
She looks like she's standing on your head.
I know, it does look like that kind of.
She's about to poop on you, bro.
No, not cool, bro.
The cool tail, though. What kind of cat is that? That's a really cool tail, man. It's like striped.
She is considered a blue Siamese, I think it's called.
Yeah, I remember you saying it was a Siamese. Yeah, man, I've never seen with like a ringtail like that. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I'm a cat lover, bro. I have a dog, but I'm actually a cat lover.
Yeah, I used to be an only dogs kind of guy, but
if I didn't have such a small apartment, bro, I'd probably have a cat. But you know how it is, man. You gotta,
This cat.
Maybe I'll try that new Martha Stewart stuff, though. The pretty litter,
Yeah, she loves to be cuddled. And she's primarily cuddled by me.
Uh-huh.
So she's always trying to get on my desk and all that kind of stuff.
I think
All
if
right.
I ever got a cat again, it would be a Siamese, dude. Like my sister bred them for competition and all that years ago. They're really cool animals, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. All right, let's continue this. It's almost over, so let's see what else he had to say.
Something in Houston.
So competition closes in Houston, or
It's gonna go through all out training camp, but we'll restart. I think we restarted already, so it's getting competitive.
okay, so who won the last round?
I really don't know. We'll figure that out.
You guys kind of tally it up, or is it daily?
Every day we tally it up, and then by the end of like a week, like 3 week span, who wins? Yeah.
Jalen was saying y'all getting beat, so
Nah, not us.
Eric, how would you describe the ups and downs?
Somebody get this guy a Snickers.
You know, as a pro, last summer, for example, we saw you making a lot of plays in training camp.
He may be hungry. That might be it.
And then the season
Good.
played out. And now the other night, we saw you making a lot of plays. How do you how does that affect your confidence, and how do you try to stay on an even keel?
Man, just being where my feet are. Honestly, you know, you go through adversity, and it's all about how you come back from it. You know, I feel like with last year was last year, and we're in a new year now, so I'm able to just showcase what I do every opportunity I get. So I learned from last season. It's behind me now. Ready to just move forward and do what's best for the team.
The biggest way you've improved from last year is what?
And he has hit the ground running because he's been going hard this camp.
Sorry, Color. I wanted to catch what he had to say because I was going to signify what the issue was.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
The biggest way you've improved from last year is what?
Honestly, I feel like my mobility, being able to move, I feel like I've gotten faster. Bought into the weight room, also like with supplements and taking my vitamins and stuff like that. Definitely feel like it's helped me improve on the field.
So you have a choice.
Wow. All right. So he's saying that his mobility was an issue. And he had to hit the weight room.
Clearly what he's been improved upon in camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely moves. I did say he looked faster on the field, right? I did say that.
But did he just give the I'm taking my vitamins answer? Did he really do that?
I wonder if he meant he came into camp out of shape. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. Let's see what Omar is asking, because Omar is like, what? And he's like
it's a psych ward. You ain't been taking your meds, man.
Don't take your vitamins, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Let's see what else he had to say.
Take your vitamins and supplements.
Well, everybody has their own routines and things they do. I really believe in supplements and vitamins and stuff like that, and yoga, and I've done it throughout the off season. I felt way better coming into OTAs, and I got hurt a little bit, but I was able to bounce back within a couple of days and play in the game like I did. So I feel like just with the routine and staying to, you know, what you do every day will help you improve. Definitely.
Which of those
Can you pause it a second, bro?
Since last
There we go.
And not to, you actually still captured it, but it was even worse a minute ago. Number one, his body language, the way he's standing there answering that question about his work ethic in the off season and his health routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bro, the way the guy's answering what he's doing and has done in the off season and all that, it just really seems like this guy is like meandering in life right now, bro. That I'm not trying to put nothing, like, I'm just trying to say, like, his body language and everything is like, you know, almost like a programmed response, but like that doesn't mean he hasn't gotten back on track and like he's saying, I'm taking my vitamins now and all that. So in other words, sounds like his teammates and people he cares about got on him and got him back on a program. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm actually trying to say, hey, maybe there is something going on. Now, his body language in this presser and all that will come, but maybe it's his body language is down because he doesn't want to think about the negative of all that. Like he's trying to keep going forward and, he's back on track. Now, you see what I'm saying? Like, but it sounds like people around him he respected told him he needed to get, in more of a routine, if you will, when it comes to taking care of his body and all that and being prepared to be an NFL player.
Yeah, it's a true point. I mean, I do think there is something going on because of, he'll smile here or there or when something's actually funny. But beyond that, it's like he's kind of like
Right.
annoyed to even be there. You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's where I'm picking up this meandering vibe. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, and that could be like, usually when people are talking to you or engaging with
Mhm.
people, their body language can sometimes also reflect the stuff that is in the back of their mind that nobody knows they're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? And I'm
Yeah.
getting
I
this
mean,
like
look,
meandering vibe. You know what I mean?
and look, maybe he's disappointed that they brought in Braxton Berrios and chosen Anderson, and they want to he felt like maybe he could have gotten a clear shot at that number 3 role, and he's looking like the odd man out. But I need to tell you, Easy E, you're not the odd person out. The
Right.
odd person out right now was a man that was a good receiver last season, but hasn't shown up. And unfortunately, Color's going to hate this and try to smack me through the headphones. But the guy that's the odd man out right now is River Craycraft, not you, bro. River
Right.
Craycraft is the odd man out right now based on how well these receivers have been doing.
Right. And it's going to be a matter of whether Easy can convince himself of that or not.
Yeah.
Whether he believes that or not. And the meandering vibe I'm getting could very well be because he hasn't convinced himself of that yet.
Maybe he's not happy with the offense and he just feels like he's taking it on himself right now.
And
Maybe because
this is why, despite my love for the guy, this is why Craycraft is still hanging around. And that's probably a thorn in his craw, you know what I mean? As far as when Easy looks like, why is this guy still around?
I understand. And here's the other part of it too, Color, is the fact that this also comes after they just had a really bad practice, right? The offense looked horrible. And your quarterback threw 3 interceptions, and maybe this is how he deals with it. So we have to think about that.
Was he a shining spot yesterday, would you say? I mean, I don't remember if
It was not one of the top performers.
right
There was
now
only one.
juxtapose that with the nice routine, serviceable, average to above average performance we saw from River Craycraft in the preseason game and all of his work, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like meandering, man, just stick your nose to the grindstone, buddy. It's you. We drafted you for a reason. Like Ali says, you know what I mean? Believe in yourself. It's you.
Yep, I definitely understand. All right, Color, let's finish this video and then we got to close it down.
Last year, what's new? Or have you been doing all of those for a while?
I've added like after workouts, I added supplements, taking vitamins every day, yoga on my off days, rehab, just stretching a lot more. I'm a bigger guy with muscles, so it's harder to move sometimes, so I just do a lot of stretching, definitely.
When you guys watch the tape and see how much space Tyreek and Jalen create in the receivers room, do you guys kind of look at that and say like there's opportunity here for the rest of us with all the attention those guys command?
Definitely. I'm really excited to get on the field with Tyreek and Jalen, knowing that most defenses are going to try to stop them and probably not worried about me too much. And kind of just being under the radar, being an underdog kind of gives me a little boost of confidence, knowing that, when my number's called, I'll be able to showcase my ability probably just one-on-one, knowing that I have to beat one person with them trying to double team Tyreek or Jalen.
except for Belichick. Belichick will triple team him and leave Tyreek Hill wide open.
So sorry about that, Color. I wanted to answer this one last thing that he just said. So that was the most animated he looked in the entire interview. Right there is when he talked about, getting that one chance and showing people what I can do and being under the radar and taking advantage of it or whatever. That's the most animated he looked in the entire interview.
And you're right, Ali, because for a second there, he had me thinking that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe his mannerisms and he's slouching like that because he's bored and he's ready for the next step, which is to showcase in a regular season. Maybe he's chomping at the bit and he's just doesn't like the minutia of answering the questions of stuff that he in the
what
past.
I was trying to tell Easy is that, listen, bro, you got your body right. I see what you're doing in camp, and I need you to keep doing it. Just get on the field, and the rest will take care of itself.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, and he's anxious to do it. He even said as much.
It doesn't matter if you have to play special teams, kickoff returns, punt returns.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. Whatever it takes, just get on the field. You get on the field, and it'll take care of itself. And that's basically what I need to see from him. And I know he can do it. I've seen how fast this guy looks like on the field right now.
Yeah, he's been bringing it pretty hard in camp.
I've seen him how they can use him. I've seen him make some pretty good catches in camp and whatnot. Just keep doing your thing, bro. Just keep doing the thing. You'll make this roster, and you'll be able to play on Sundays. That's all I need you to do.
Also, Ali, the irony of too is that in all of this is that, you know, to take all the shade for Sunday's practice off of the quarterback. Everybody failed the pop quiz. It wasn't just the quarterback that failed the pop quiz. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right, Color. Any final thoughts? That was the end of our episode. Thank you for joining us. What final thoughts you got?
You know, hey, let's. Everybody's going to be in Houston this week. We got a lot of guys in the Dolphins community, fans and all that are going to be there to watch. You know, fellow fans from the Texas region and all that, and
are you gonna go, Color? You're gonna catch a quick flight?
I wish I could. I really wish I could, man. That would be awesome. If somebody wants to Cash App, you know, enough money to make a trip for me, I would absolutely do it. I got the time, but the thing of it is, though, you know, it gives a chance to get the team away from South Florida for a minute. I joke about the prying eyes and all that, but it really does put the general fan a little, you know, settles us down a little bit. Team gets away, doesn't, you know, they can operate in a place where the pressure is on the team they're practicing with in the joint practice because it's their home and their fanatical fans are there to pick on them all week, you know, and you might even see a lot more positivity, you know, generally about our team, even in the media, because again, it's Houston's home. The focus is on them and their practice. And so it's going to be a lot easier for them to say, hey, look at that guy, what that guy did from Miami. You know, oh man, our guys got to get better if they want to freaking compete with teams like Miami. You see how it could turn on in the narrative, and like, because it's their home and the focus is on them, and all of a sudden, just kind of like how you saw people complimenting aspects of Atlanta when they were over here. You know what I mean? When they were here. So, you know, I think that can work in our benefit as far as the outward, you know, all the imagery and positivity toward the fan base and all that stuff. It takes a lot of pressure off our guys for practice. We can kind of get some things done and work, you know, really resolve some issues and get some good work in. That's what I look forward to.
I understand. Yeah, man, definitely. You know, it'll be very interesting. Round trip tickets to Houston's only $72. Color.
Wow, that's crazy. That's not bad. and
Yeah.
I just need a rental car and a hotel. And let's see. So we're talking about, dude, if somebody cash out to me $500, I probably could do it. I could probably just drop everything and go to Houston for camp, for at least a day.
Don't even need a hotel, bro. Just get there, go to the game, sleep at the airport.
Well, just because I'm a lazy mover, so I'd want to probably stay a night, just because I don't want to have to be pressured getting through the airport minutia and all that.
Nah, I gotcha. All right, Color. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. I'm going to keep you up here while I do this. Hey, everybody, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. We appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the content. This is Top of the Tailgate, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. The usual. You know how it works around here. We'll keep doing it. We'll keep doing shows, and I can't wait for Late Night Exhale on Saturdays and everything else. So make sure you hit like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell. And until next time, we give you adieu. Y'all have a great night. Ends up.